Tattat prapya shubhashubham nabhinandati nadveshti tasya prajna pratisthita. He who is everywhere unattached. Love and attachment are two different things. Love is there, attachment is not there. Attachment is a sensory experience, whereas love is a spiritual experience. And he is not pleased at receiving what is advantageous or pleasant, nor vexed at receiving what is evil or what is disadvantageous. His wisdom is steady. His prajna is steady. Yada samharate chayam kormonganeva sarvashah indriyani indriyarthebhya tasya prajna pratisthita. The Gita gives us a fine example of this type of withdrawal from external attachments. Like a tortoise, when it draws its limbs, when does it draw? When there is danger around it, it just draws its limbs. Similarly, man completely withdraws the senses from their objects. At his own will, he has the freedom, he has the capacity. He can attach himself at will, detach himself at will, just like the tortoise. A double freedom man enjoys. If only we know how to attach, then we get into trouble. If we know how to attach and to detach at will, then we are free. Then only his wisdom is steady. Now comes a profound statement, a deep psychological insight. That verse is verse 59, which is Vishaya vinivartante niraharasya dehinah rasavarjam rasopyasya param drushtva nivartate. Sense objects fall away from one who is practicing abstinence. I don't want to enjoy food today. Of course, the food goes away from my mind, but the desire remains. Attachment for food remains in the mind. So he said, leaving the longing behind. Rasa is the longing. I have a longing for food. By sheer will, I kept food away. But even the longing will go only when the Atman is realized, when the truth is realized. But his longing also ceases, who sees the Supreme. Param drushtva nivartate. That is why a mere ascetic may practice asceticism. He has to be constantly on guard, because his longing is there, desire for objects is there. But when truth is realized, the Atman is realized, even the longing goes away. Then he can be free with the objects in the world without getting caught in their attachments. This is a profound psychological truth about man. Yatato hyabe kaunteya purushasya vipaschitaha indriyani pramathini haranti prasavam manaha. The sense organs are very powerful. The shloka says, these turbulent sense organs, O son of Kunti, do violently snatch away the mind of even a wise man striving after perfection. They are intensely powerful. Even the wise are attracted by the sense organs. Therefore, we must be alert, says all our literature in India. Balavan indriyagramo vidvansmapi karshati, says Manu in his Manusmriti. Sense organs are very powerful. Even a wise man is very much defeated at that level. That means be alert. Don't feel that you have become so strong. Any moment it may snatch away, the sense organs may snatch away your wisdom. That if you realize the Atman, then there is no fear at all. You become natural, spontaneous, like a child, without any attachments. Then, therefore, Krishna says, Tani sarvani samyamya yukta aseta matparaha vashehi yasya indriyani tasya prajna pratisthita. That steadfast, having controlled all the sense organs, be steadfast, he says, having controlled all the sense organs, disciplined all the sense organs. This cerebral system is to be utilized to discipline the entire energies of the sensory system. Then only wisdom comes to man. Therefore, the steadfast man, having controlled all the sense organs, he sits focused on me, the infinite self in all. Krishna identifies himself as the divine incarnation, as the infinite self of all. Having steadfastly controlled all these sense organs, focus your attention on me, your own infinite self. His wisdom is steady, whose senses are under control, says the verse. Without disciplining the senses, knowledge can never rise to wisdom. Everything else is knowledge at that level. And knowledge can give you joy or sorrow. As the late Bertrand Russell said, today human condition is he has plenty of knowledge, but plenty of unfulfillment also. So he said, unless men increase in wisdom as much as in knowledge, increase of knowledge shall be increase of sorrow. He says this in his book, in his post-war speeches, Impact of Science on Society. So here you have the statement of Krishna in the Gita, that those whose senses have been perfectly disciplined by their higher brain, they alone can be truly free. Their wisdom will be steady. Now comes a statement about when does man fall down? When does his wisdom get destroyed? When he is attached to the sense organs and to the sense objects. This is a very remarkable statement in 2-3 verses at this point of the Gita. Dhyayato vishayan pumsah sangasteshu upajayate sangat sanjayate kamaha kamat krodho vichayate. Thinking of sense objects, attachment to them is formed in a man. Go on contemplating, revolving in the mind, that is nice, that is nice. Slowly attachment is created in the human mind, and from attachment longing to possess the object comes, and from longing anger grows when there is obstruction to achieve that longing. This is how the psychological stages by which first look at a thing, very pleasant, then constant looking at it creates attachment to it, then a desire to possess, then obstructions are there, your anger is roused to destroy those obstructions. In this way the statement proceeds and then says, Krodhat bhavati sammoha, sammoha smriti vibhramaha, smriti bhramshat buddhinasho, buddhinashat pranashyati. From anger comes delusion. When the mind is angry, all wisdom goes away. Mind becomes deluded. It cannot see things in their proper way. Just like during a storm, you can't see the trees, you can't see anything. Everything is covered with dust. That kind of a dust storm rises in the human mind when there is strong anger. And from delusion, loss of memory. Our identity we lose at that time. We can do any wicked deed at that time, once that delusion comes and possesses the human mind. And from loss of memory comes the ruin of discrimination, viveka, the profound value which separates man from all animals, this capacity for discrimination, viveka. And from the ruin of discrimination, the man perishes, he falls down. This is the stage by which we slide down and completely gets lost in this world. We see it in the modern age, so many examples in the newspapers of stealing from super bazaars. Even well-dressed, endowed people with plenty of money, even they fall a prey to this kind of temptation. Looking through the glass, find something very attractive, constantly looking at it, desire to possess it comes, then he somehow steals it. Sometimes he is caught, then brought before the magistrate, and all this kind of punishment comes in the end. We can see how the mind deludes us when it becomes subject to the pressure of the senses, and the senses become subject to the pressure of the sense objects. You can see a chain reaction coming in that form. And then if you have really a disciplined sense organs or the mind, none of these difficulties come. So in verse 64 you have this statement, Ragadvesha viyuktaistu vishayani indriyaisharan atmavashyar vidheyatma prasadam adhigachyati. But the self-controlled man, moving among objects with sense organs strictly under control and free from attraction and aversion, attains to tranquility. It is not the sense organs that are troubling us, it is not the sense objects troubling us, but the mind is not disciplined to attach to or detach from the senses or the sense objects. So in this shloka it is said, free from attachment and aversion, you can freely move with your senses among the sense objects. Nothing will happen to you because you are a free man. Nothing can control you and bring you under its thraldom. Then when the mind becomes calm and steady as a result of this perfect inner discipline, real peace comes to the human mind. So the next shloka says, Prasade sarva dukkhanam hanirasya upajayate prasanna chetaso hyashu buddhi parivatishtate. When the mind is completely tranquil, all sorrow is destroyed.